You're listening to Conversations Ignite.
Hey, listeners, and welcome back to Conversations Ignite, where we deep dive into the stories that spark curiosity and conversations. I'm your host, Robbie. Today, we're going to be exploring a topic that's steeped in secrecy, power, and controversy: the Bohemian Grove conspiracy theory. For over a century, this scheduled gathering in the California redwoods has drawn some of the world's most powerful men, from U.S. presidents to corporate titans. But what really happens behind those closed gates? Are these meetings just innocent retreats, or is it something more sinister at play? We're going to break it all down, from the history of the Bohemian Club to the strange rituals performed at the Grove, and the theories that suggest something much darker is going on. So sit back, relax, and prepare to enter the world of the Bohemian Grove. Let's start with a bit of history. The Bohemian Club was founded in San Francisco in 1872. Originally, it was a gathering spot for artists, musicians, and journalists, hence the name Bohemian. But over time, it evolved into something much more exclusive. Membership expanded to include some of the most powerful men in America: politicians, corporate leaders, military officials, and even presidents. By the late 19th century, the club had established Bohemian Grove, a 2,700-acre campground in Monterey, California, as the site of its annual retreat. These retreats have been held every July for over 140 years, and they're shrouded in mystery. What started as a getaway for creative minds has become a symbol of elite power and secrecy. But what exactly really happens at Bohemian Grove? The official story is that it's a place for relaxation, where the world's most powerful men can unwind in nature, free from the pressures of their everyday lives. But conspiracy theorists believe there's much more to the story than that. They argue that the Bohemian Grove is where the world's elite men and women meet to discuss and plan global events, far away from the public's eye. And it's not just about the present. Over the decades, the guest list has included major historical figures, from the likes of Henry Kissinger to former presidents like Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, and even George H.W. Bush. The idea that such influential individuals gather in secret has only added to the sense of mystery surrounding Bohemian Grove. One of the most infamous aspects of Bohemian Grove is the Cremation of Care ceremony. This ritual takes place on the first night of the retreat and involves a theatrical performance where an effigy representing care is burned in front of a giant owl statue. Now let's unpack that for a moment. The owl, which is about 40 feet tall, is a central figure in the ceremony. It's been said to symbolize wisdom. But some conspiracy theorists claim that the owl is a representation of Moloch, an ancient Cantonese god associated with child sacrifice. The burning of the effigy, they argue, isn't just a symbolic act of casting away worries. It's sometimes far darker. The ceremony itself is elaborate, with members dressed in robes, chanting, and performing various acts that resemble an ancient rite. For many, it's easy to see how this could be perceived as a cult or even satanic. However, others argue that it's just simply a form of theater, meant to be fun and a cathartic way to kick off the retreat. In 2000, Alex Jones, a well-known conspiracy theorist, managed to infiltrate Bohemian Grove and secretly film the Cremation of Care ceremony. The footage shows the burning effigy and the large owl, and for many, this was the first real glimpse into what goes on at Bohemian Grove. Jones and others claim that this is proof of the elite's involvement in occult practices. However, many others have dismissed the ceremony as harmless, a bit of spooky fun that has been blown out of proportion. But here's where things get even more interesting. Some researchers point out that the rituals like the Cremation of Care have parallels in other secretive organizations. For instance, secret societies like the Freemasons have had their own rituals and symbols, which have also been the subject of speculation and conspiracy theories for centuries. The use of symbols, the emphasis on secrecy, and the presence of powerful members. These are all elements that tie Bohemian Grove to a broader tradition of elite secret societies. It's also worth noting that rituals like these can serve as a powerful tool for group cohesion. They create a sense of shared identity among members, reinforcing the bonds between them. So while the ceremony may seem strange or even disturbing to outsiders, it could be seen as a way for the members of Bohemian Grove to strengthen their connections to one another. Whether you see the Cremation of Care as a harmless ritual, an occult practice, or something in between, there's no denying that it's a key part of what makes Bohemian Grove so intriguing and so controversial. Now, let's talk about the people who attend Bohemian Grove. This is where it starts to get a little interesting. The guest list at Bohemian Grove includes some of the most powerful men in the world, past and U.S. presidents, major corporate executives, military leaders, and other influential figures. The list of attendees over the years reads like a who's who of American power. Conspiracy theorists believe that the Bohemian Grove is more than just a social event. In fact, they argue that it's a place where the world's elite come together to discuss and plan global events in secrecy. Decisions about war, economic policies, political strategies, according to the theories, all of these are hashed out in the redwoods of Northern California, far away from the public's eye. One of the most famous examples cited by conspiracy theorists is the Manhattan Project. It's said that the initial planning for the project, which led to the development of the atomic bomb, was discussed at Bohemian Grove. Whether or not this is true is still a matter of debate, but it feeds into the narrative that Bohemian Grove is a place where world-altering decisions are made. Another aspect of this theory is the idea that Bohemian Grove is a hub for networking among elites. It's seen as a place where deals are made, alliances are formed, and the future is quickly shaped. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. There's plenty of evidence that powerful people use social gatherings like Bohemian Grove to discuss business and politics. But the secrecy of the Bohemian Grove amplifies the sense that something more is going on here. Let's take a look at some of the major players who have been involved. Richard Nixon, who attended Bohemian Grove before and after his presidency, once remarked that the Grove was the most faggiest goddamn thing you could ever imagine, a comment that has been both ridiculed and analyzed by conspiracy theorists. Nixon's attendance, along with other political heavyweights like Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush, fuel the idea that this gathering has significant political implications. There are also corporate executives, CEOs of major companies, banking leaders, and media moguls. It's no secret that corporate influence on politics is a major concern, and Bohemian Grove provides the perfect setting for the kind of backroom deals that could shape the future of industries and economics. But here's where the conspiracy deepens. Some believe that these gatherings are about more than just politics and business. They argue that the elite are using Bohemian Grove as a place to orchestrate the very course of world events. Whether it's deciding on the next war, influencing elections, or even manipulating global market, the idea is that the Grove is where the strings of power are pulled. Of course, there are skeptics who argue that while Bohemian Grove may indeed be a place where the powerful gather, it's not necessarily where the fate of the world is decided. They point out that networking and socializing are common among the elite in various settings, not just at the Grove. However, the secrecy and exclusivity of Bohemian Grove make it the prime target for those who suspect something more is going on. One of the things that make Bohemian Grove such a magnet for conspiracy theorists is the level of secrecy involved. The members of the Bohemian Club are notoriously tight-lipped about what goes on at the Grove. No cameras, no recordings, and no outside guests. What happens at the Bohemian Grove stays at the Bohemian Grove. This secrecy, of course, only adds to the allure of the speculation. After all, when you gather some of the world's most powerful people in a secluded spot and shroud their activities in mystery, it's only natural that people will start to wonder what's really going on. Then there's the symbolism, the giant owl, the mysterious rituals, the motto, waving spiders, come not here. All these elements contribute to the idea that the Bohemian Grove is more than just a summer camp for the rich. Symbolism has always played a big role in secret societies and organizations. From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, these symbols often carry meanings that are not immediately obvious to outsiders, which only fuels speculations. The owl, for example, is said to represent wisdom, but some believe it's a reference to the ancient deity Moloch, who was worshipped by the Cantonese and associated with child sacrifice. The burning of the effigy during the Cremation of Care ceremony is seen by some as a dark ritual, reflecting the belief that the Grove is a site of occult practices. The motto, waving spiders come not here, is another point of consideration. It's interpreted by some as a warning against discussing business or personal affairs during the retreat, reinforcing the idea that the Grove is a place of pure, untainted leisure. However, others see it as a cover for more nefarious activities, suggesting that the motto hides a deeper, more sinister purpose. Public attention and media portrayal of Bohemian Grove have also played a significant role in shaping its mysterious image. From documentaries to sensational news reports, the media has both fueled and questioned the conspiracy theories surrounding the Grove. The combination of secrecy, high-profile guests, and symbolic rituals creates a fertile ground for speculation, making Bohemian Grove an enduring subject of fascination. So what's the verdict on Bohemian Grove? Is it just a secluded retreat where the powerful and rich go to unwind and engage in some quirky rituals? Or is there something more sinister happening behind those redwood trees? The truth is, we may never know the full extent of what happens at Bohemian Grove. The combination of secrecy, high-profile guests, and symbolic rituals make it a perfect candidate for conspiracy theorists. Whether you believe in the darker aspect of the Bohemian Grove conspiracy or see it as a harmless retreat, one thing is for certain: it continues to captivate the imagination and fuel debate. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the mystery of Bohemian Grove. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Share your thoughts on this topic or suggest other topics that you'd like me to explore. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep that fire burning.
Thanks for listening to Conversations Ignite. See you next time.